Attention residents, if your dog is on all fours, you are safe. If your dog is sitting, you are safe. But if your dog begins to stand straight, balanced, like you, do not wait. Do not call its name, do not clap, do not laugh. Leave the room immediately. Because the moment it looks at you from that height, the animal you loved is gone. And what's standing in front of you isn't learning how to be human. It's practicing for something worse. This is an official message from the Office of Emergency Animal Control, relayed through the District Civil Defense Network. Remain calm and listen in full. Power and phone service remain available. You do not need to evacuate. You only need to know what to do when the behavior begins, and you must know it now. First light calls to animal control tripled. Reports sounded harmless, a dog playing pretend, a funny video. Opportunity, a pet who just wanted attention. Then the descriptions lengthened. Owners said their animals rose onto their hind legs and stayed there. Not a hop, not a trick, a straightening. The spine pushed, upright with small wet clicks, each vertebra agreeing to a shape that should not fit inside a dog, tails tucked against their bodies like a belt, paws pressed flat, feeling the world the way hands feel, testing corners, tracing edges, pushing down to see what yields. If you are hearing rumors that this is a training fad, dispel them. If you have seen videos, understand that any clip ending with laughter is missing its final seconds. No trained animal looks at its owner with eyes that still and calculates the distance to the doorway. No trick ends with the dog reaching for the handle and pausing as if waiting for permission it no longer needs. Household accounts converge on the same unnerving sequence. The moment the stance settles, sound dies, panting stops, whiskers hold, the chest does not rise. There is no scratch of nails. The room becomes ajar with the lid twisted tight. In that silence, people report feeling taller, not because they have grown, but because the dog has joined them at their height, measuring them with an expression that is not an expression at all. The mouth closes and flattens. Lips gather as if holding back words. The eyes fix, and you become something it studies rather than loves. An affected family on Quarry Lane delayed leaving because their child begged to film the cute trick. The footage, turned over to authorities, begins with a laugh and ends with an apology none of us will hear. The animal rises, wobbles once, then steadies. It touches the table. The elbow bends wrong to reach the salt shaker. It learns. In 30 seconds, the wobble is gone. In 40, the paw is no longer a paw. It drags along the table edge, pads folding, nails clicking, each finger finding a place it did not have yesterday. The video ends because something covered the camera from above. Understand this clearly. The upright posture is not a curiosity. It is a threshold. Crossing it is not your pet showing off. It is your pet leaving. If you remain in the room, you are the lesson. It watches the way you stand, the way you reach, the way you turn a knob without looking. It steals the timing. First, next it borrows your height. Then it tries the door. Several households report the same. Knocking pattern, 2, 3, then 2 again, not a scratch, a knock. The rhythm is inconsistent at first, as if taught by listening through walls, then too precise. Our technicians isolated a recording where you can hear claws scrape, pause, reposition. Then the pads strike wood flat, each hit cleaner than the last. After the 7th knock, a voice shapes itself low in the throat, struggling around a tongue that is too heavy for speech. "Let me in," it says, and the door opens because someone flinched at the words. We emphasize, do not address the standing animal by name. Names are bridges you built with love and repetition. The moment you lay that bridge down in a room that has gone silent, something will cross it. Owners who spoke names describe the same response. The head tilts, the mouth tightens, and the animal pulls in a breath so careful and so human that all at once you understand. It has been practicing the entire time, not learning tricks, practicing you. Field officers who entered unresponsive. Homes report rooms arranged for eye level, chairs pulled back and angled toward doorways, curtains drawn with a pinch grip too high for a paw, a television turned to a blank input, its glass reflecting a tall, narrow figure that is almost right. One investigator wrote, "I told it to sit without thinking. It did. It folded into a seated curl like a person who never learned where their knees belong. You are. Safer the moment you break line of sight. The thing can still hear you leave, but it cannot adjust to absence until it understands the shape that absence leaves behind. Every second you stare is a copied second. Every flinch teaches, every swallow, every step backward, every whispered sorry becomes a motion it knows how. To where, if you must flee, do it without apology. There is nothing in that room that can be comforted. We are not asking you to harm your animals. We are telling you your animals are being used. There is no vaccine, no collar, no training word that reverses this. It does not respond to whistles or treats. It does not chase balls. It does not blink when you mention the park. If it blinks, it will be because you blinked first. That is how far the practice goes. You may feel compelled to test reality. People report holding up a hand and seeing the upright dog raise its paw to mirror it perfectly, a living photograph of your shape. Do not do this. That gesture has ended in contact. Contact has ended in quiet houses. Neighbors describe seeing silhouettes pass. A window twice as tall as any dog, shoulders lifted high, head cocked at a listening angle. No person could hold for long. In 2 cases, the figure drew the curtains together with a slow, patient pinch. A veterinary specialist at Northside Clinic attempted to sedate an affected subject. The animal remained upright during the injection, watching the syringe enter the muscle without a twitch. The dosage should have sent it down. It stayed, pupils steady, breath measured, mouth firm as if bracing for a word. When the doctor asked the owner to step back, the dog stepped back too, matching the distance. Exactly. A nurse began to cry and the dog did something no chart could predict. It tilted forward as if to listen better. The nurse left the profession that day. The animal has not been found. The network will continue to function. Shelters are closed to intake. Dispatch will not send officers into rooms where the posture has been confirmed. If you have evacuated a room and your dog remains inside upright, lock the door and leave the building. Inform neighbors only if you can do so without stopping beneath a window. Keep moving. Do not return for keepsakes. It will. Wait for the sound of your feet and time its breathing to yours. If you come back, it will be better at being you than you are at being calm. Some of you are listening with the dog already in the doorway. You can feel the height of it without seeing, the way a shadow tells you its shape from the floor. This is your last instruction. Do not speak. There was a time when saying its name brought it running with joy. The thing in the doorway will run too, but not for joy. It will run to see how. Close it can stop without touching you. It will stop exactly where you would. By the time it smiles, understand that it is not using teeth. It is using timing. It is borrowing the exact second when you would have smiled at a familiar face to show you a familiar shape. The mouth will change later. The bones will follow later. The smile is only a rehearsal for the rest. We have reached the portion of this message where advisories usually soften. They will not soften. The safest houses tonight are the ones that do not watch. Turn away from doorways. Turn away from windows. If a figure as tall as you waits at the threshold with the still patience of a photograph, do not measure its kindness against your memories. Measure the silence against what you know a living thing should sound like. If there is no sound, you are looking at a study in progress. In closing, we remind you of the first and only rule that matters. When the standing begins, you leave. There are no second chances given by posture. There is no bargaining with a practiced motion. There is only the door and the decision to use. Lock it behind you. Do not linger on the step to listen. Do not film. Do not prove you were brave. Be gone. This transmission will continue at intervals through the night. If you are outside and the house behind you is quiet, stay outside. If you are with neighbors, keep your eyes on each other, not on the windows. If you hear knocking that seems almost right, move farther into the street. If a voice follows, it is not your dog. It will never be your dog again. You built a bridge with its name. Do not cross it. We are done telling you gently. We are done saying, please, leave the room, leave the room, leave the room.